So, welcome everyone to this amazing episode of the Dealmaker podcast. It's Liam Ryan here, your host. And as always, thank you very, very much for tuning in. Now, I've had a lot of requests lately from people I work with, mentees, people that have attended our events, talking about leverage. And how can you leverage other people's skills, time, knowledge, when you're in business or when you're starting business, or perhaps you're at the start of your property journey and you're finding it difficult to break through or to build social proof or to gain credibility with your investors. So we're going to be talking about leverage in this episode of the podcast. But what is leverage? Well, the definition of leverage is the following: the ability to influence a system or an environment in a way that multiplies the outcome of one's efforts without a corresponding increase in consumption or resources plus time. So that is the definition of leverage. In my eyes, it's doing less and earning more. And what you've got to become very good at is building a team and getting people to do the things that, one, you're not very good at, and secondly, the things that you don't enjoy doing. Life is for living, ladies and gentlemen, and I refuse to spend my time doing things in business that, one, I'm not very good at, or two, things I don't enjoy doing. Now, that doesn't mean I don't push myself, and that doesn't mean that I don't try and challenge myself in certain areas. But for example, I absolutely don't enjoy spreadsheets. I don't enjoy analysing deals. I don't particularly enjoy viewing deals or putting in offers for property deals. But my business partner, Jay Munoz, who's a chartered civil engineer, he was a top project manager for Skanska and ISG. He's worked alongside Alan Sugar. He's helped build the Walbrook and other monumental buildings in London. And he decided a few years back to literally quit his high-flying corporate job because he was sick of being leveraged himself, and he decided to go into property full-time. I met Jay back in 2015. He was actually one of my solar customers, and at the moment that I met Jay, I thought, hang on, we're on to something here, because he started to tell me that he enjoyed floor plans, and he really enjoyed numbers, and he really enjoyed anything technical. And that's the complete opposite to me. I'm more of a motor mouth. I'm more a visionary type character. I enjoy working more on strategy. So what you've got to be clear about in relation to leverage is you've got to be thinking, what are you good at? And what do you enjoy doing? So for me, I enjoy sales, marketing, negotiating. I have a real passion for mentoring people. I have a real passion for training. I really love raising money with joint venture partners. I really enjoy building a team. So what do you enjoy doing? What do you think are your core strengths? And what do you think are some of your core weaknesses? Once you have an understanding of that, and then you've got a plan together about building a multi-million-pound property empire, you can start to focus on the things that are gonna bring in for you the biggest amount of money. And in property, the two highest key result areas, one is finding deals, and the second is finding money. So for example, Jay finds the deals, because I don't particularly like viewing properties and walking around houses. I walk into a house and all I see is rooms or bricks or bathrooms. Jay walks into a house and he's got this whole idea of how this house can be converted into a multi-let, or how we can add the most amount of value to make the most amount of profit. So Jay does that, and I typically focus more on the money. Now, there's lots of other things you can do in property and business when it comes to leveraging other people's time and experience. Now, if you're new to property and you don't feel you've had the confidence, and let's say you haven't even got an investment product over the line yet, well, you might want to team up with a business partner that has got some property, or you might want to find a mentor that you can then leverage off their experience. So one of the things we do at Assets for Life through our trainings and the people we mentor is they can leverage our experience. So when they're going out to agents, when they're going out to investors, when they're meeting people in their power team, they can basically say, hey, look, we're partnered with Assets for Life. We do work with Assets for Life. We've been trained through Assets for Life. And all of a sudden, that will give the person you're talking to a lot of confidence, and it will give you some social proof. What you don't want to do in property and business is do everything yourself. The quicker you can start outsourcing and leveraging, the quicker you can start focusing on the items that are going to bring in the biggest amount of money. You don't want to get involved with all of the nitty gritty. So what else can you leverage in your property business or any business that you have? Well, look, you can leverage all of the admin work. And one of the first people that you should have in your business is a VA, a virtual assistant. And you can find these virtual assistants anywhere in the world. You can find them in the Philippines, you can find them in India, you can even find them in the UK, or get yourself a personal assistant that perhaps works with you 1 or 2 days a week. You then want to start leveraging other people's experience in property. So you're going to want to go and get a good solicitor. You're going to want to go and get a great broker that can deal with residential mortgages, commercial mortgages. You're also going to want to build relationships with development funders that can get you funding for your land development and commercial conversion deals. You then want to also leverage architects, floor plan designers, structural engineers, builders, main contractors, solicitors, different types of solicitors. So there's many people in property that you can leverage that end up doing a lot of the work for you. Agents, letting agents, deal sourcers. What you want to do as quickly as possible is you want to become the person at the top, managing the team, motivating the team, spending your time networking, and ultimately spending your time on your highest key result areas. So leverage is really important, and I see a lot of people in business, they spend a lot of time on low income generating tasks, even stuff in the household. Now, if you are currently cleaning your own house, you need to stop that as quickly as possible, because it's a low income generating task. You can get someone to clean your house for £10 an hour. If you are currently doing your own bookkeeping, now the only way I would say do your own bookkeeping is if you are doing it for, I don't know, enjoyment, or you're doing it literally as your downtime because you absolutely love bookkeeping, or you're doing it for some type of meditation or relaxation reasons. Other than that, you need to outsource your bookkeeping as quickly as possible. Gardening, ironing, get that stuff outsourced super fast, even to the point of shopping. You know, spending time walking around Marks and Spencer's or Aldi's or Tesco's, the time it takes you to drive to the supermarket, queue up, get your shopping queue up, check out, get back in your car, get back home. That whole trip could cost you, time-wise, 1 or 2 hours. Well, that's 1 or 2 hours you're not spending on a high value task like marketing or sales or deal sourcing or analyzing numbers, getting your message out there to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. So ultimately, you need to create time in your life where you can then focus on your business. So if you look at some of those tasks which we've just spoke about, you know, that might be taking up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of your week. How great will it be that that time is spent making money, building your business? That's really, really, really important. Other things you can leverage is you can leverage apps and systems. We use lots of systems in our business here at Assets for Life. We use lots of apps on our phones. So let me just share with you some of the top apps that we currently use in Assets for Life. We use Evernote for storing notes and documents. We use Xero. Well, our bookkeeper uses Xero, which means we can access Xero, which is all to do with bookkeeping. We also operate Team Chat and Team Projects, which is a project management and communication system between all of your staff members. We use Dropbox, which is used for file storing. You can also use things like Trello and Asana, really good for project management and task lists. Of course, you should all be listening to podcasts, and you're listening to my podcast, so that's really good. You've got things like Go Cardless, which is an online payment system that you can use with your tenants. There's a system called Arthur, which is a really good online system for management of your tenants. You've also got things like ClearScore, where you can get a clear credit report. We also use things like, we did use MailChimp. It's a really good email communicating software platform. We now use Infusion software. Things can be automated and processed. So you've got to be thinking big, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to leverage other people's experience and time. You need to become the business owner. You need to be the person motivating, inspiring, educating with the ideas, pushing everyone forward. And the quicker you stop doing 10, 20, 30 pound tasks, the quicker your income generating value will start increasing to 50, 60, 100 pounds, 500 pounds. One of our commercial conversion deal projects, my hourly rate with the profits that we made was £11,000 per hour. Now that's what I'm talking about as an hourly rate. And this is the levels that you need to be getting up to over a period of time. So I hope you found this podcast useful on leverage. Stop doing the nitty gritty. Focus on the big tasks. I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.